I still have a big back catalog of movie recommendations to get through, so yesterday I watched all 3 Narnia movies. Now, you might assume that's a little bit of hyperbole, but I assure you it is not. I was up until 1:30 a.m. finishing off Voyage of the Dawn Treader, but that's honestly a little unnecessary. It's only about 7 hours of content. I just happened to also go to the movie theater in the middle of Prince Caspian. You might also want to assume that I must be some type of Narnia superfan, but that is also not the case. I had never seen the movies before this. I haven't even read the books. It honestly just boiled down to me not wanting to make 3 whole separate videos about movies I might not have been that into. But as someone who had no prior knowledge, while I'm sure I missed some of the fun references or deep cuts, I also didn't have to worry at all whether they were sticking to the source material or completely butchering it. I think the most interesting part of the entire concept for me is the time shenanigans, which honestly wasn't explored as much as I would have liked. There's a little bit of it in the first film with the jump now showing they've lived just as long in Narnia as they have out of it, but that's quickly taken away. Then, for the second film, only a year has passed outside, but it's been hundreds inside of Narnia, effectively killing off any of the people they had met before, which feels like an incredibly impactful thing to have to a child, but they're not that bothered. Then, for the final film, it's been the same amount of time outside, but in Narnia it's been only months, maybe? I'm not entirely sure. This whole table is honestly kind of confusing to me. Whatever the situation is, having the entire existence of a world depend on whether I am stepping in or out of a wardrobe is honestly a little bit too much responsibility for me to handle. I do think it's a bit of a shame when you lose Susan and Peter for the final film, because purely from an acting perspective, what these two went on to do versus what these two went on to do kind of reveals a bit about their capabilities. I will say that getting Will Poulter is a wonderful consolation prize, maybe one of my favorite characters of the entire series. He does such a good job at playing the annoying, sniveling little cousin that the amount of agitation he's able to pull off transcends into being impressive. Also, for the people that care about absolutely meaningless information, watching these back to back to back let me notice that between 2008 and 2010, Walden Media changed their production company intro to have the stone now bouncing away from camera as opposed to towards it. So that's something. Thinking about it, I was probably going to end up watching the new movies simply because they're directed by Greta Gerwig, so it'll be nice to have these under my belt. Although I've probably done irreparable damage to my recall and will not be able to separate which event happened in which movie because I effectively watched them all at the same time. Across the board, 3 stars.